back with episode 38. I am here with my main man, Joel.
Aw, yeah, seek and destroy, man. I am Sinister.
Uh-huh. So, people seem to have taken to the new format I did last time, so we're going to do more of that. You can see
That's
what we're
good.
talking about on the screen. The one thing we want to talk about is, Joel, mention what we can't talk about in this episode because it's a little more controversial, but it will be available on Patreon.
Well, if you've been around social network at all this week, you know, the big gaming controversy, the thing that's got everybody talking, everyone flaming, everyone feels very passionate and opinionated about the thing. It's the big ongoing Zoe Quinn controversy. And basically, before the show, Armin and I had a little back and forth of like, do we want to talk about this? This is pretty controversial. Both him and I feel the ways that we do. And we ultimately decide just to record ourselves talking about it, and you can actually see that if you become a patron, and you can listen to the very special Control Breakers Late Night, which is the first version we've ever done for this show.
Yeah, it's quick, but we get our thoughts out, and it's we just couldn't fit it into the show because we know the blowback that'll happen. So it's on there for you patrons that you want to discuss it. But let's get into this week in news, and the first thing I want to talk about is something I've been playing my ass off on, which is, of course, Diablo 3 Reaper of Souls came out.
Looking fun. How does it play on the PlayStation?
Oh, like I got Diablo 3 Collector's Edition the day it came out on PC. Of course I did. It's Blizzard, right? Love the hell out of it. This is essentially PC version, just about maxed out, 60 frames a second, 1080p on console, works beautifully with a controller. Everything is there. It includes the Reaper of Souls expansion pack for $60. It's worth it. There's some great integration with your friends. Like, if an enemy slays one of your friends, they'll appear in your game. If you take them down, there will be a special bonus and things like that.
Sweet.
There's a lot of good stuff. Inviting a friend into it is easy. Hell, Shay and I have been streaming, I think, a total of 6 hours in the last 2 days.
Nice.
Like,
now, can you do local co-op with Shay?
Yes,
if
you can.
Oh, see, that's
You can do
fucking
4-player
awesome.
local co-op, I believe.
Oh, that's the good stuff. It's so funny that you're saying you played it with your wife. I know Jason Murphy, our friend over at Rage Select, him and his wife Allison. That's their couple time playing Diablo.
It's good stuff. I've been playing Diablo. If you guys want to see that, I'll put an annotation to go to our second channel. I'm uploading 2 parts a day, every day, probably for the next, 2 months. So go watch that. And eventually, if you're seeing this on the main CBC channel, they'll be uploading in giant chunks, like parts 1 through 8 or something, and 9 through 15 or some shit like that.
What we're trying to say is Diablo is good for your relationship. It's good for the marriage relationship.
It is. It's a really good game, and the fans have interacted a lot, and it's been a really fun time. I'm loving the hell out of it. It's Diablo. I mean, what can I say?
It looked super fun. Again, I caught a little of you guys playing it, and I'm like, man, if I got the game, I could hop on there with them and have fun adventures. And then I'm looking at my stack of money, I'm like, oh, but I gotta save for Destiny, though, come September.
Yep, Destiny's coming. Destiny, or as I like to call it, baby's first MMO.
In a way, and that's kind of part of its charm, actually.
Yeah, it's very simplified MMOs. But the other thing I want to talk about, if in case you haven't noticed, go buy Diablo 3 Reaper of Souls. If you've seen me play, if you have any interest, it's very fun, very good, old school, hack and slash type of game. You'll enjoy it. So, Joel, you're one of those Resident Evil guys that got onto the bandwagon with 4, right?
I most certainly did, and I am not ashamed to say that 4 was my first Resident Evil, and that's absolutely where I hopped on.
Have you ever went back and played any of the old ones?
This is weird, actually. I went back and I played, what are those ones like Resident Evil Survivor or whatever?
Oh, God damn it.
Where it's like you're not any of the main ones. You play a bunch of other guys just going through Raccoon City. And I played
Operation Raccoon?
No, not Operation Raccoon. This was for the PS2. Oh, I feel like an idiot, and people are probably yelling at me.
Outbreak?
Outbreak. Yep. That was the
you
one.
Fucked up.
I played Outbreak 2. And I'm pretty sure, if I remember, what was the one Resident Evil like Deadeye where it had a light gun and everything?
Deadeye, yep.
I played that too.
Okay, so you fucked up completely.
I played the shit ones. Yep.
All right, so Resident Evil Revelations, which came out at the same time as 6, got way better reviews.
Yes, it did.
Harkens back all the way to gameplay of Resident Evil 4 with the environments of Resident Evil 1 and 0, which people liked more. It was more, here's some puzzles here and there, and you actually have to kind of use your mind once in a while.
Less sea monsters.
Right. Resident Evil Revelations 2 got leaked out.
Oh.
So that's coming. We know nothing besides it's coming, and there's one picture of it.
Nice.
I'm super excited. I played a little bit of Revelations. I really enjoyed it. I have it. I've been thinking about streaming it on Twitch. If people are down for that, let me know in the comments, and I will definitely get to that once I'm done Diablo. I think it could be a good Halloween thing for October also.
Yes, it would be. I was gonna say it's a PC port, right? Like a Steam thing. How is it as far as ports go?
On PC, I played Revelations. I've been playing at maxed out 1080, everything cranked all the way up at a constant 120 frames a second. So
Not
it's
too
a pretty
bad
decent port.
Not too bad for what was it, like a DS game or
Yeah,
something?
it started as a 3DS game.
Wow. So
Yeah.
I mean, Jesus Christ, when the big multi-budget, 6 people don't like, but they like the 3DS game.
Yeah.
What does that tell you about game development?
Uh-huh. Now, are you going to go back and play Resident Evil Remake Remastered?
Considering that I never actually played the first one when it came out, maybe I should.
Okay. We'll talk about that when we
Maybe
get
I
to
should
that,
do
I
it. Do you think
guess.
it's going to have the same tank controls, or do you think they're going to update it?
From what I understand, they're changing how it plays, they said, so I guess.
Hmm.
I mean,
Yeah.
whatever the fuck they say. I mean, take them for their word.
Yeah, I guess.
So, all right, Joel. Now that we got that out of the way, so I got a few questions for you.
Shoot.
What happened to the PlayStation Move?
It went to the graveyard,
Okay.
the graveyard of which all peripherals went
And
to.
Sony shot it with a shotgun.
It took it back. Sony took it back behind the woodshed. They're like, "We are most sorry, most honorable move."
Okay, now what happened to the PlayStation Vita?
The people who like the Vita like it a lot, but it just could not make a dent into whatever the heck it was Nintendo was doing.
So they took it behind the shed, and they shot that too.
Okay, in North America, they took it behind the shed and shot it. In Japan, the Vita's doing much better.
Now, I thought you would say that, right? Because Gamescom went on.
Mm-hmm.
Europe, they completely buried it. They didn't mention it once.
Nope, that was sad.
E3. Now, here's how I'm feeling about it. It hasn't sold well.
Mm-hmm.
They're putting out some great games on it, but no one's buying them.
And there's a lot of really great Japanese stuff, too, that's not making the jump over here, like a bunch of Final Fantasy stuff that people would actually play.
So, the way I'm seeing it, it seems like they're pitching this as like, okay, if you know this thing exists, you can buy it, whatever the fuck, Because we got PlayStation Vita TV coming out, right?
Yes,
Which I think a lot of people are going to buy for $100 and be able to play a lot of the great Vita games.
Yeah, which is amazing. I mean, hell, I totally want to play Persona 4 Golden, even though I actually got a PlayStation 2 to play vanilla Persona 4, and Persona 4 is now on the PlayStation Store, which actually gives a lot of people one less reason to get a Vita.
And one thing, I'm with it. It's like, oh, I'll get the Vita TV, but then it doesn't play Uncharted Golden Abyss, which is one game people would have downloaded bought on it. So I'm like,
For completionist's sake.
Well, maybe they'll add it on there, but my big project is, so they shot the PlayStation Move.
Sadly, I think it had a lot going for it.
They've pretty much buried the Vita unless you're the heavy-handed hardcore.
Mm-hmm.
And Project Morpheus is on the way.
Right.
And remember what happened with their 3D push? Remember that E3 where everything was, put on your 3D glasses, we're going 3D, it's the wave of the future. Next year, crickets.
To quote Botsmaster, when it's laser time, put on the 3D shades. Only laser time never came.
So, do you think PlayStation Morpheus has an actual substantial chance at withstanding this peripheral bullshit?
Now refresh my memory. What was Morpheus again?
It's the virtual reality headset.
Oh, okay.
Now,
maybe
I'm like, okay, does this have an actual push? Because we know that Facebook is working on Oculus.
Yes, they are.
There's other companies like Samsung trying to do their own, and we're hearing that Razer is trying to make their own, for PC. Mm-hmm. So it seems like there's going to be a quantity of them. Now, I think PlayStation would be the one poised to be the best, because, hell, we found out at Gamescom, Xbox One, it's shipped 5 million units to stores. That means it hasn't sold 5 million units. PlayStation came out and said, we've sold 10 million.
Yeah, just
Not
sold
just
10 million.
Sold. it's the fastest selling game console of all time.
They're looking good. They're
Like,
they're in
think
a
about
good
this.
position.
In 9 months, PlayStation 4 has sold 10 million. In its lifetime, PlayStation 3, in the like what? Fucking 8, 9 years it's been out, has sold 80. It's
Jeez.
outpacing the last generation by a huge. It's actually outpacing the PS2, if you could believe that.
Wow.
Now, that's pretty damn impressive. I think the PlayStation, the Morpheus could actually stay around and actually be like a viable competitor as long as the competition is there, you know?
Yeah, well, I mean, the thing with Morpheus too, I mean, an actual headset thing, it's kind of hard to not sell that and not make it look like a gimmick. Like, I think that's their big hurdle to be like, no, 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 this is a viable gaming thing. We promise it's not the Virtual Boy again. We promise it's not one of those.
Right, right. I think Morpheus sells on the software. If
Right.
if they can pack Morpheus, right? Let's say it ships next November, right?
Mm-hmm.
Hypothetically, you get a box. The Morpheus is $200 or maybe even 150 because they don't need engine behind it because they could power by the PlayStation 4. The
Right.
PC, the Oculus, you're going to need a powerful rig. Like, it's built for one console, which is why I think it could succeed. If they put it out there, they go, oh, $150. Oh, and if you buy it, No Man's Sky works with the
Oh
Morpheus.
yes, yes, that was one of the games they were pushing. I mean, really, the thing with Morpheus is like, well, just knowing me personally, and I'm sure a lot of people are like me out there, where it's like, just show me how it works, though. Like, actually, give me a feel of what it's going to be like when I put it on, because it's kind of a hard selling point for people unless it's like, no, seriously, put this on.
I think that's the thing they're going to have to try to get out. Like, imagine if next E3 they come out, they say Project Morpheus coming November this year.
Mm-hmm.
But starting next Sunday, you can play it at all your local Best Buys at the demo
Ah,
units.
that's what they would have to do is the
Right.
thing to really get people on board with it.
And I think it has a chance. I think virtual reality is definitely the wave of the future. I mean,
Do
that's where
you?
we're going with it. So,
Hmm. I mean, well, I think we're at the point now where we've pushed graphical fidelity about as far as it's gonna go. I mean, there's not really that huge a difference between, like last generation and this generation in terms of
I mean,
graphics. I mean,
let's face it. The best looking current gen game on PS4 is The Last of Us.
ain't that some shit?
Yeah. So,
Ain't that some shit for you? So I mean, I guess if game development, if they're gonna keep chasing the what's the next big best looking thing, I guess virtual reality is the way to go. Plus, I mean, it's the whole science fiction thing we've all wanted since we first saw Tron.
exactly. So I am completely down with that, and I want to talk about one last subject, Joel.
Mm-hmm.
Now you've been getting a lot more into the Steam and PC gamings.
I most certainly am.
Uh, so the Steam box was pushed back to 2015.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Now they've been changing around the controller. Originally they had the two trackpads. Now they added an analog stick, and they're playing around with it. And that's maybe causing some of the reason, but the cheapest Steam box looks it's going to be around $400, $500.
Yeah, so that's comparable with
Right.
consoles nowadays.
Now, it, let's say hypothetically you see all these great Steam deals,
Yeah.
and you see the Steam box like next 4th of July. You
Yeah,
go
yeah.
to your Best Buy and there's the Steam box sale, right? You buy the Steam box for $500, you get $100 worth of Steam credit. Now, for
Ooh.
$100 Steam credit, I am not lying to you when I tell you you can buy about 30 to 40 good games. I
You
bought
absolutely can.
I bought every Assassin's Creed game this past July for the 4th of July sale for, I shit you not, $14.
Still had to suffer through all the you play Ubisoft bullshit, but you got
Right.
it for a steal.
But I got it for I bought Far Cry 2 or Far Cry 3
Nice, nice.
for $2. I bought The Walking Dead, all the DLC, the expansion and Walking Dead Season 2
Yeah, yeah.
for $7.50.
Ooh,
Now,
that's a
if they
steal.
could, set up a station at a Best Buy or Sears that has that being advertised, do you think that will push people to pick a Steam box?
Well, I mean,
Because you got to think about it this way: the games will be optimized to run like a console game.
I mean, like even just in terms of value, I think it's kind of hard not to argue with that value. I mean, they would definitely have to sell it right and market it right to be like, hey guys, sure it's $400 now, but you can get the BioShock triple pack for $10. You can
Right.
get Dishonored Game of the Year for $10. Maybe a bunch of games you never played because you were a Sony guy your whole life,
Right.
or
Or they
vice
could do the
versa.
thing, where they put it out there. They're like, hey, is that game exclusive on PlayStation 3? Is it exclusive on Xbox One? That's cool. It's probably available on Steam also.
See, that's what I like, and that's what they're really gonna have to sell. Be like, hey, never played Halo before? That's okay. You can get all of it. Hey, you want the best version of Dark Souls? You can
Right.
get it here too. You can get the PC. They really need to start selling that, or
Right.
really pushing it. Where it's like, hey, consoles are nice, but I mean, if you want the real PC experience, but in a console box,
Right. They could do the whole thing with Skyrim. They could be like, hey, you like Skyrim? Do you like one-click mod edition? You literally go to the mods, you click X, it downloads. The next time you boot up Skyrim, here's this whole new world you've downloaded, right?
Yeah.
I think if they pitch this the right way, much like, and I'm going to compare this to something we talk about on the normal podcast, Guardians of the Galaxy. If they
Hmm.
pitch it and it sells to the hardcore who see the potential, and we tell people, it's like, hey, I get it. You don't have maybe a lot of money. You don't know what to pick, but you like playing games, and maybe you like cheaper games, and maybe you don't get all the newest games as they come out. Check out the Steam box.
You want
It's
you want some old shit that's not backwards compatible anymore? Like for you want some old KOTOR, you can have it. You want what was that kung fu one that they made that everyone really
Jade
liked?
Empire.
Jade Empire. You want some old Jade Empire? You can have
Right.
that now.
It's like, oh, you want all the Resident Evils that are out on PC? Well, guess what? This Christmas, $6 gets you all of them. I mean, I think
Yeah.
that's an instant sale. I think they could really hammer that in. So,
Yeah, I mean, once they start being able to do that, like it's kind of hard to, argue with being able to pick stuff up for cheap. And again, that's what they'll have to sell it as is like, for your one-time investment of $400 for the Steam box, you
right.
can get all of this. Plus, hey, if you are now again, if you already have Steam, will that cross over with the Steam
Yes, it
box?
will. They've already said it will.
Well, there you
I
go.
have natively actually installed SteamOS onto a PC empty hard drive just to see how it works. Works
Hmm.
like a game console.
So
That's
yeah,
it. It
hey,
just works.
PC Master Race who already have Steam, well, don't you want a box now to show off?
Yep, yep.
Or
So,
or but do you think that's the case? Do you think they'll want to show off the guys who already have Steam and who are part of the PC Masters, or do you think they're just going to stick with their PC?
well, I will stick with my PC, but to Shay, who doesn't want to boot up a PC and doesn't like a keyboard and mouse, I'll throw her the Steam controller, or hook up my Xbox 360 or PS4 one to it, and be like,
Hmm.
here, play this game on the TV because it works natively now. You don't have to configure anything, it just works for you.
And for guys like me who are, maybe just starting out with the Steam and the PC stuff, but whom feel more comfortable with, a box and a controller, yeah. I mean, I think it's very much to win over guys like me who are, who are on the fence.
Right.
That being
Uh,
said, I don't know if after, because it's going to come out later and because people have probably already spent their hard-earned cash on an Xbone or a PS4 or whatever, I really wonder if they'll be like, oh, well, I'm going to spend another $400 on this Steam box, I wonder.
right, right.
I think that's going to be the thing. I think, had they come out around the same time and could compete, or could compete, now that it's afterwards, I really wonder.
How about this? Valve comes out, announces an exclusive Steam sale. All right, guys. Now we are Valve. We do make software. For the first month, you're going to be able to play Portal 3 exclusively only on PC and Steam box.
Or hey, Half-Life 3 finally,
Yeah,
everyone. Only on the Steam box.
Only on Steam box for the first 3 months of its life. I think
Oh
that
my
would
God.
convert a lot of people.
That really would. I think that's how they would play. Imagine all of it's like, hey, Team Fortress 3 and all of this only on the Steam box. You better buy one.
Internet implodes in rage against Gabe.
Did you see how mad people got that Bayonetta 2 was only coming to the Wii U?
Uh-huh.
And that's Bayonetta. Could you imagine if they pulled some crap like that?
Oh boy.
Jesus Christ. You're right. They would burn Valve to the ground.
All right, Joel. Well, I think this was a good episode. If you guys are still enjoying the new format, make sure you let us know down below. And we will be back soon with another episode.
Yes, we promise there won't be another 6 month slumbering period for the show.
Probably not.
Even though we said that last time.
And the time before.
And the time before that. We're just bad people. We apologize.
Hey guys, Joel here reminding you that this video was made possible thanks to our many great patrons. If you want to become a patron and get exclusive comic book cast content, then click the Patreon link below and see how you can help us bring you the content you've come to love. Every little bit helps, and thanks for listening.